Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes. He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
A few days ago, we brought you the intense verbal clash between the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, and Whoopi Goldberg. But what we didn't get a chance to show you, thanks to time limits, were the full details of the encounter and those jaw-dropping reactions. So get ready, because what you're about to see will leave you stunned. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to catch more unforgettable moments like this one.
I too am a working mom and always have been. I've been a professional woman since I graduated from college or law school. But now there's, I think, a good thing, which is like the restoration of valuing so-called traditional moms, and that's great. The women who take care of their kids full time. Most of my best friends are doing exactly that. But it seems like in the right, there's like a bit of a shift toward like, you can't do what Karoline's doing. That's actually like an unsafe or a dangerous or a bad choice for families, for children, which I reject wholesale, but you hear it more and more.
Yeah.
Do you hear that, and what do you think of it?
Right off the bat, the woke mob did what it does best, lose its mind and try to mom shame her. Because apparently, if you dare outwit the self-proclaimed queen of woke, Whoopi Goldberg, her army of minions will swoop in like Twitter trolls on a viral hashtag. And with the woke brigade, nothing, and I mean nothing, is off limits. Not your arguments, not your character, and certainly not your family did so. What was their brilliant comeback after Leavitt verbally suplexed Goldberg on national TV? Did they challenge her facts or professionalism? Nope. They went full 1950s and asked why a mother of a 7-month-old was even working. Yes, folks, the same crowd that screams women can do it all suddenly hit pause and decided this particular working mom had crossed the line. Apparently, if you embarrass a daytime talk show host, you're supposed to go home, bake cookies, and reflect on your life choices. Hypocrisy at its finest. Self-awareness? Nowhere to be found.
I would reject that it's a bad choice. Is it a tough choice? Absolutely. You know, as a mother, you want to be with your child 24/7. You have that maternal instinct.
27.
Yeah. Not all the time. Well, right now, yes, because he's 7 months and just squishy and lovable, but I'm sure that will change. No, but you know, you do have that maternal instinct, but also recognizing, like, I'm doing this work for my son and for all children to make this country better, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Honestly, Karoline is making some solid points, and I have no idea why people are hating on a hardworking mother in the first place. Let's see what she has to say next.
It's also it's temporary, right? In 4 years, my son will be 4 years old, and the president will no longer be at the White House, and then I'll move on and do something else. But, you know, this chaos of 24/7 work is a temporary matter, and that's what at least I tell myself to get through these very long and hard days. But I would reject that you can't be a good mom and be good at your job. I think you can do both. It certainly it's not for everybody, and it takes a lot of work and will and faith and prayer, and it's hard, but it can be done. And you know, I would reject that.
No space line. Just like that. Karoline Leavitt effortlessly smashes the woke outrage like swatting away a fly with a sledgehammer. She calmly drops what should be common sense. Yes, it's totally possible to balance motherhood and a career without having to sacrifice one for the other. Groundbreaking, right? Someone call the think tanks. But here's where Leavitt really flips the script. She unapologetically embraces traditional values, admitting that juggling work and raising a child is tough and that not every woman is cut out for it. Shocking, I know, a woman actually daring to say, hey, my lifestyle isn't one size fits all. Unlike the left's you can have it all or you've failed feminism mantra, Leavitt offers a more mature perspective. She gracefully points out that women who choose full-time motherhood deserve respect, not condescension. Because, believe it or not, nurturing the next generation is just as valuable as climbing the corporate ladder. In the end, Leavitt doesn't just win the argument, She lays bare the left's hypocrisy for what it truly is: performative empowerment with a side of mom-shaming. But if you thought the left couldn't sink any lower, they managed to surprise you with a brand new rock bottom.
I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
Yes, you heard that right. The left, the self-proclaimed champions of facts, evidence, and logic, have officially swapped their science-backed yard signs for tinfoil hats. They've dropped to the level of low-budget conspiracy theorists you'd expect to find shouting on a street corner with a cardboard sign. And their latest jaw-dropper of a theory? Brace yourself. Apparently, Elon Musk, the guy who's busy launching rockets and revolutionizing transportation, has secretly hatched a plot to take down Trump by pushing him down the stairs. Yes, really. Because nothing says billionaire master plan like schoolyard tactics and leading this intellectual crusade? None other than The View's finest, the daytime talk show harpies who've somehow convinced themselves they're running a congressional committee from their coffee table. Why? Because Leavitt had the audacity to destroy their queen bee, and now they want their pound of flesh. So who better to target than Leavitt's boss, Donald Trump, and his buddy Elon Musk? It's like watching satire write itself, but Karoline Leavitt wasn't about to let that nonsense slide. She hit back with a few choice words that didn't just debunk the lunacy. They had the conspiracy crowd scrambling to cook up their next half-baked theory.
A lot of women are preparing themselves for the impact of the incoming administration, which has led to this growing mantra from male right-wing incels: your body, my choice. Say that to my face.
Never one to back down easily, Whoopi Goldberg gathered what little courage she had left to take another swing at Karoline Leavitt. Though, of course, it was indirect. Even she knew the kind of verbal obliteration that awaits anyone foolish enough to challenge Leavitt head dash on. So instead of confronting Leavitt directly, Goldberg took the coward's route. She turned her sights on Trump, and that's when she did the unthinkable right there on national television. Goldberg spat after uttering Trump's name, like a cartoon villain tasting defeat for the first time. Classy, right? Because nothing screams intellectual rebuttal like spitting on cue. Well, Leavitt didn't let that one slide. She fired back with the precision of a surgeon and the force of a freight train. This is what passes for debate now. Leavitt scoffed. When you can't win on facts, you resort to playground antics. Imagine being so triggered by one man's name that you start spitting like a toddler refusing broccoli. It's beyond embarrassing. No wonder daytime TV ratings are crashing. And she didn't stop there. Leavitt called out the hypocrisy loud and clear. These are the same people preaching civility and respect, yet here they are turning ABC into a slapstick comedy show. By the time Leavitt was done, Goldberg's bold move looked less like defiance and more like desperation. The internet took notice. Memes flooded in faster than The View's producers could hit the commercial break. Many who witnessed the heated exchange threw their support behind the White House press secretary. One user posted, "These women are going to have to hide at some point. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking down the street if I were any of them."
You must have really wrestled with how you were going to meet the high bar set by Karine Jean-Pierre. Was that... Sorry, was that out loud? No, she was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how is your approach different, would you say?
I think it's vastly different. And if you ask people, even in the legacy media, even the Trump haters, they will tell you the approach has been much different. Not just from me, but the entire White House. Oh, absolutely. They come in my office every day and they'll admit that off the record. Oh. Maybe not on the record, but they will say they appreciate the access and the transparency and the preparation that goes into my briefings and everybody on our team.
Now, I'll admit I'm getting a bit off track here, but did Karoline Leavitt just expose the legacy media and Trump haters in one swift move? Because this part is pure gold. Think about it. These are the same people who've pounced on Leavitt every chance they get. From questioning her credentials to mom-shaming her, the woke journalists have practically made it their side hustle to drag her at every turn. If Leavitt even breathes wrong, there's an op-ed about it within the hour, but here's where it gets juicy off camera. When the outrage is switched off and the blue-check bravado fades, these very same critics are reportedly sneaking into Leavitt's office to congratulate her. Yes, you heard that right. They're privately thanking her for the media access they couldn't get under Biden's press team. So let's get this straight. Publicly, they're painting her as some right-wing villain. Privately, they're all smiles, handshakes, and whispering, "Thanks for actually doing your job." You literally can't make this stuff up, but honestly, should anyone be surprised? Hypocrisy has practically become a job requirement on the left. It's not just The View, it's the entire media ecosystem, pretending to fight the dragon while secretly feeding it scraps under.
According to an IG report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just one year. And it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in one year, just over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the press.
Fresh off her verbal smackdown with Whoopi Goldberg, Karoline Leavitt barely has time to catch her breath before another woke journalist swoops in, ready to set the record straight. Was this journalist concerned about the actual issue Leavitt had just exposed? You know, the massive fraud sitting there like a neon sign? Of course not. That would require critical thinking, and we can't have that. Instead, they zeroed in on attacking Leavitt like a hall monitor drunk on power. It's almost like these people attend the same training camp. Ignore the scandal, attack the whistleblower, congratulate yourself for saving democracy. Leavitt, being Leavitt, didn't just roll over. She hit back with the kind of calm, cutting precision that turns internet clips into viral gold. "Oh, I'm sorry," she quipped. "I didn't realize exposing corruption was less important than satisfying your fact-checking fetish." And the best part? The journalist, clearly flustered, doubled down. Because when you're losing, why not dig a deeper hole? They kept pressing, nitpicking words while completely ignoring the elephant tap dancing in the room. By the time Leavitt was done, it wasn't just a debate, it was a full-blown demolition. The journalist walked away looking less like a truth seeker and more like an unpaid PR rep for the very fraud Leavitt had just exposed. It left me wondering, how exactly does Leavitt prepare to face the press? Because she sure seems to have her finger on the pulse of just about every issue. Take a listen.
You can't know everything, and you could get asked anything. And unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, you're not out there reading and furiously flipping through your tabs to try to find an answer somebody else has written for you.
Yeah.
So how are you preparing?
So I did prepare a binder for the first briefing. My great assistant, Keegan, put it together. And then I showed up to work and it was like this thick. And I was like, I can't even move this. I can't use this. It was too cumbersome for my brain and the way I learn and think and study to have that. It felt like added weight. And I said, I want to just go in there and speak from my mind and from my heart.
Like your boss.
Like my boss.
And that right there is the secret behind Karoline Leavitt's lightning-fast responses and devastating clapbacks. That she's not reading from a script or running her words through a woke-approved filter. She speaks from the heart, plain and simple. Unlike her woke counterparts, who need a focus group, a PR consultant, and a thesaurus to churn out the perfect, inclusive yet outraged soundbite, Leavitt skips the theatrics. No hypocrisy. No obfuscation. Just raw, unfiltered reality. The kind that lands harder than their recycled talking points ever could. While the left is busy doing mental gymnastics to avoid offending their own echo chamber, Leavitt is out here saying exactly what everyone else is thinking. And the best part? She doesn't just talk the talk, she backs it up with facts, receipts, and the kind of confidence that leaves her critics blinking like deer in headlights. It's almost unfair. While the woke brigade is busy crafting the perfect insult thread on X, formerly Twitter, for those still pretending it's 2016, Leavitt's already 5 steps ahead, dismantling their arguments before they even hit post. In a world drowning in virtue signaling and performative outrage, Leavitt's authenticity isn't just Refreshing, it's a threat to those whose entire platform is built on smoke, mirrors, and selective outrage, as though hearing Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg reduce such an obviously intelligent and talented woman to her looks. It's not just disingenuous, it's downright disheartening.
Not just disingenuous, it's downright disheartening.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.